What's up guys, Corbin Zimmer here with One More Fitness, and today I want to talk to you about something you might have been seeing a lot on the internet, you might have heard from your friends, and that is what are macros. So we're going to talk about what macros are and why you should care. Okay, so whether you think it or not, macros are impacting your life on a daily basis, so it's important we know what they are and how to use them to increase our performance or to get whatever goal we're looking for. Okay, so before going into macros, we're going to talk about calories. Now, calories are measurements of energy, and when we eat food, the food contains calories, so we're taking in energy. And then when we're doing activities or anything throughout the day, we're burning energy. So it's always this equation of taking in a certain amount of energy and putting out a certain amount of energy. Now, our body's always trying to find a balance. So if it's taking in more energy than it's burning or than it's putting out, then we're going to store some of that energy. We store it in the form of fat. Okay, and if we're taking in less energy than our body is putting out, we can free up some energy in order to make that equation balance out again, and that's how we lose some weight or lose some body fat. Okay, so our body's always looking for that equation to be balanced out. So if we give it less energy, it will have to take from somewhere or something. It doesn't always just take from body fat, okay? It'll take from some muscle. Basically, we'll lose weight in order to produce more energy. So with that said, we break these calories down into macros. Okay, now where we're getting the energy from does matter. Okay, so the three macronutrients are protein, carbs, and fat. And I'm going to explain a little bit about each one. So we'll start with protein. There's 4 calories per gram of protein. Okay, now protein is important for muscle recovery, for building new proteins. So basically, those proteins are used for every single chemical reaction that happens in our body, not just building the muscle, but hair, nails, skin. Our cells require protein in order to build new proteins. So protein is very important, which is why you'll hear so much about it. Even if you're not a bodybuilder, you're not trying to get huge and more muscular, you would benefit from having adequate protein in your diet. Okay, just like anything, more of a good thing isn't always a better thing. So more and more protein doesn't mean you're going to get more and more muscle. It just means that having enough is enough, and that's what we want. Okay, so once protein needs are met and adequate, then we talk about our primary energy sources. So we'll go to carbs. We have 4 calories per gram of carbohydrates. Now, carbs are the primary source of energy. Okay, that's the energy source that our cells want most. It's our first and fastest source of energy, which is why when you eat some carbs, you'll feel a nice little uptick in energy. This is a good thing. Our cells like it, and our body can use it to increase performance. However, once again, if we have too much of anything, our body will have to store the excess. So we want enough carbohydrate to where we give our body the energy that it wants, and we can have the recovery, because carbs also help with anabolism, or in other words, promoting muscle growth. So we want enough carbs to help, but once again, enough is enough. Too much will be stored as excess. Okay. So then we'll move down to fats. Our fats, the dietary fat, we're talking about fat that we eat, that has 9 calories per gram. So you can see how fat's a lot more calorically dense than the other 2 macronutrients, which is why we want to, be a little more controlled with our fat, but at the same time still making sure we have enough fat in there. I'm sure you guys have heard about like healthy fats. Those are fats that contain a high amount of healthy fatty acids. So those are important. Things like avocado, salmon, these those fats are healthier for the brain and also for the heart. So you hear a lot about healthy fats, but once again, they're still fat. They still contain 9 calories per gram. So if you eat too much of them, they can still store excess as body fat. So the main concept I want you guys to take away from some of this is that that we want to have enough, but not too much. Okay. So 9 calories per gram of fat, it supports hormone balance, which is very important to have our endocrine system functioning optimally. So making sure that hormones are in balance. Brain function, so having enough fatty acids to help with brain function, and then they also help with satiety, basically making you stay full from meal to meal. So we want to make sure that we have enough of these in our diet to make sure that we're getting the benefits from them, but not too much to where our body can't utilize them and is just going to store excess as fat. Okay, so once again, the total amount of calories that we have in the day is what matters most. We break those calories down into macros, and that's what's going to make sure that we are recovering good from our workouts, we are full in between our meals, we have the energy we need on a day-to-day basis to do what we need to do, and also we have optimal hormone balance. So all these macronutrients and the ratios in good balance would be an optimal approach to dieting. Okay, so that's just a little bit about what macros are, why they're important, why you should care. Check out my next video to learn what makes the perfect diet. Thank you guys.